right, good morning, and thank you all for joining us today. You know, I am truly inspired by all the women and families who are coming forward to explain exactly what this administration's harmful policies would mean in their lives or in the lives of the people that they care about. So I'm going to start my remarks today by sharing a personal story, one that made clear to me how important it is that women have the right to control their own health care choices, and one that shows how much is at stake as President Trump attempts to put Judge Kavanaugh on the bench and fulfill his promise of striking down Roe v. Wade. We didn't have a term for it then, but when I was in college, my very close friend went out on a date and is what we would now call date raped. She got pregnant, and this was before Roe. She couldn't find a place to get a safe, legal abortion in our country. And she had no money. She was not wealthy. So she didn't have the means to find one anywhere else. Well, she ended up having a back alley procedure, and it left her at a very young age, unable ever to give birth. That impacted me a lot. And that is why when Roe v. Wade did affirm, finally, that women in the United States have the constitutional right to make their own reproductive health care decisions, I committed to doing everything I could to ensure that that right was protected. It is exactly why I've fought extreme Republicans tooth and nail to stop them from defunding Planned Parenthood and from chipping away at women's access to reproductive care at the state level. It's why I've stood with women across the country against each and every attempt by President Trump to restrict women's access to care. And it is why I feel today, with President Trump's nomination of Judge Kavanaugh, that we have never been more at risk of going backwards. Look, President Trump has broken promise after promise, but he has never, ever once wavered in listening to extreme ideological special interests when it comes to women's access to health care. He promised them he would nominate Supreme Court justices who would strike down Roe and undermine women's health care access, and he found exactly what he was looking for in Judge Kavanaugh. Judge Kavanaugh has supported indefinitely blocking a young woman from having an abortion. He determined that a woman's boss shouldn't even have to submit paperwork to help her get contraceptive coverage outside of work if that boss didn't think women should use birth control. He is the ideological dream pick for President Trump, Vice President Pence, and the conservative special interests whose lists they are choosing from. And he would be devastating for women's health and rights in the United States. Because make no mistake, if Judge Kavanaugh is seated on the Supreme Court bench, 5 men will be empowered to overturn Roe v. Wade and take us back to the days when a woman didn't have the option of accessing safe, legal abortion. 5 men will decide that young women will not get to plan their families and achieve their dreams. 5 men will decide access to safe abortion in the United States is a privilege for the wealthy rather than what it should be and has been for decades, the constitutionally protected right of every woman, no matter how much money she has or where she lives. 5 men will decide that women cannot be trusted to make their own most personal health care decisions, and therefore that in a very real sense, women are not treated equally in the United States of America. The vast majority of Americans do not want this to happen. They do not want to see women's constitutional rights rolled back. They do not want our daughters and our granddaughters to lose constitutional protections women have now had for more than 4 decades. So I urge everyone who is listening today, talk to your friends about how much this matters. Share your stories. Rally, call your senators, write to them. There is simply too much at stake to sit on the sidelines. And we can defeat this nomination, but only if we do it the way we defeated Trumpcare. Because people across the country stood up and said, "Not on my watch." So please speak out wherever you can and know that Democrats are here fighting right alongside you. This is an important time in our nation's history, and we all need to take action. With that, I'm very delighted to introduce Senator Smith to you. She's been a great champion, and I'm really proud she's here, along with Senator Duckworth and others who will be joining us. And you will hear from two people with their personal stories. But I'll introduce Senator Smith first.